G'day viewers. There were some wonderful happy scenes in New York this week with the legalisation of gay marriage. Now here in Australia, our supposedly progressive government is steering a million miles away from even thinking about recognising gay marriage in Australia. And with one of the senior ministers in the government, Penny Wong, being openly lesbian, it's actually kind of sad and awkward to watch her when she's forced to publicly defend her government's position. She's essentially standing there saying, no, I really shouldn't have the same rights as everyone else. It really brings home, life's not that straightforward and easy for everyone. Hey, I'm a heterosexual white male. Everything goes my way. But if you happen to do something so outrageous as choose to love someone the same gender as you, that can either be awkward, inconvenient, or life-threatening, depending where you are. In case you don't realise it, I just picked two fights. The first one is probably obvious. It's social conservatives, whether they base their objections in religion or any other belief structure, people who just think being homosexual is wrong, we just barely tolerate you, you shouldn't be treated as if you count the same as everyone else. Obviously, people like that will get their back up and try and excuse their position, which comes down to nothing but ignorance and bigotry. I don't care, just as a little aside, I'm not going to go too heavily into religion bashing on this one, but Christians who say the Bible tells them that being gay is wrong, put them on the spot, and most of them actually can't say where, they just go it is. The ones who've actually looked it up will actually know it's in the Old Testament, in the Jewish Book of Law, and seriously, if you're going to adhere to that, you better be kosher as well. For non-religious people like myself, this selective picking and choosing to justify obnoxious behaviour really fucking sucks. But what's the second fight, you say? Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, I mentioned the idea of choosing to be gay. In the current sort of mainstream of gay politics, that's a big no-no. Because, and my understanding of this is, if someone says, I'm choosing to be gay, well, the social conservatives who oppose it can beat them and say, well, we're going to teach you to choose not to be gay. Don't make such a bad choice. Where the people say, it's not a choice, it's who I am. Personally, I think my choices make me who I am. Their choices. I choose to really like pizza. I choose to be sexually attracted to women. I honestly don't know the sexual preference. I don't know if that's like a genetic makeup thing, if it's cultural, if it's upbringing, if it's opportunity, or if it's any combination of these. And I'll let you in on a tip. Anyone who says there is conclusive proof evidence of one or the other, whether sexuality is choice, genetics, predetermined, or some combination of the above, they're talking shit. There are lots of beliefs, and they change from time to time. In case you don't know, I'm somewhat old, in my 40s, and back in the 80s, when I was at college and in the heart of this politics, the orthodoxy was actually the complete opposite. I've brought this up before. As recently as the 80s, the militant gays that I went to college with were very much like, no, it's my right to be gay, I can choose to be gay. They didn't want to say it's something I can't control, because that had connotations of them being, well, I don't know, less than human, like there's some base animal that can't control themselves. It's like, no, damn it, I choose to control it. I'm not attracted to the opposite gender. I'm attracted to my gender. It's my choice, my right. What it comes down to is, in my opinion, it's you. If you're gay, straight, bi, asexual, pansexual, any mix of the above, it's who you are. And the idea that you have to justify yourself to someone who disagrees with you is fucking ridiculous. If you're not hurting someone else, no one has a right to tell you how to live your life. Okay? You get to make your own choices, or who you are is who you are, and no one else gets to dictate that to you. But if, and I'm sure comments have been fired off already as soon as I said the word choice, but if you're still thinking about it, consider this. If that's important to you, I completely respect that it's important to you that it's not, your sexuality is not described in terms of choice. Weirdly, that's a choice. If you choose that that's important, that's how you see the world. Your view is not universal. There is a lot of diversity about human nature, whether it's learned, whether it's cultural, whether it's innate. There are arguments on both sides. But personally, I'm all for respect. People who behave in a respectful way and don't hurt other people deserve respect and deserve the rights to their own life, whether that just be a genetic makeup of who they are or a choice they've made. And if you are gay and you feel very militant about the thing of choice, really think about why. Because if you think that justifies who you are to someone who's a social conservative who objects to homosexuality, you're barking up the wrong trail. I mean, seriously, when you hear absolute horror stories like gays being executed in Uganda, all the gays being rounded up and arrested in Ghana, and crimes that, you know, really lynching is the only word to describe them. There have been a couple of absolutely horrific hate crimes in the US and all around the Western and Eastern, First World, Third World. There are violent, awful attacks against people solely because of their sexuality, and in some cases just their presumed sexuality. Do you really think that someone who's got an innate objection to your sexuality is going to be swayed whatever you say? Really? You really think that's going to happen? When it comes down to opposition to homosexuality, it's bigotry, purely and simply. Whether someone's got a doctrine pushed into them, whether they think they're protecting families, whether they think they're doing their God's work, or whether they're a little bit honest and they just find the whole gay thing a bit squicky and they can't deal with it and it freaks them out. That's really what's behind homophobia, let's be honest. But no matter what, if someone's got a deep ingrained opposition to your sexuality, it doesn't matter how you see yourself, it doesn't matter how you justify yourself, they're not listening. So my personal advice is if no matter what your sexuality is, if someone wants to argue with you about the rightness or the wrongness of your sexuality, if you're not hurting someone else, fuck them. Don't justify yourself. Don't say it's who I am, it's genetic, it's not a choice. Fuck them. They don't deserve it. Trying to justify yourself won't work, and these ignorant fools don't deserve anything from you. Don't waste your time. It's who you are. Whether it's a choice or whether it's your genetic makeup, it's who you are, and fuck anyone who thinks they can change you.